I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start by introducing everybody. Actually, before we begin, I've got a bunch of note cards here. We're gonna have time for some questions and answers later, but it's probably not going to be so good to have the raising hands thing. So if you'd like note cards, you can take note cards, pass them around, and if you have questions, you can jot them down on the note cards. We'll gather them up later and find a bag or a hat or something that we can stick them in and pull the questions out for the panelists and kind of spend the last little bit of the program doing that. About half of it, perhaps, anyway. And before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to everybody. Way down on the end there, that's Miss Valerie Lovely, and she's a music specialty lawyer. She started the music law firm in Boston. She's a Berkeley grad. She plays everything under the sun. Please put your hands together. Valerie Lovely. And next to her, Patrick Rogers, president of Dancing Ferret Discs. He also owns a record shop, Philadelphia's finest record shop, Dancing Ferret Compact Discs, and also runs events under Dancing Ferret Promotions. So he's the Dancing Ferret guy. And next to him, Andrew Sega. Andrew is also known as Necros and has been around for a long time making video game music, and now he performs with Iris and Alpha Conspiracy, and he started Diffusion Records. Andrew Sega. And the shaggy blonde guy in the middle with the funny accent is Martin Atkins, and Martin's done just about everything. He's the founder and president of Invisible Records and Underground Incorporated. He's played with Nine Inch Nails, Public Image Limited, Killing Joke, his own act, of course, Pigface. He has just written a new book, which I can't put down, called Tour Smart, which is a tremendous wealth of information about touring. And he's had his penis immortalized by Cynthia Plastercaster. Martin Atkins.
The way you've gone with this.
Is that a little plastic?
Show us your. No, and on the end here, the guy with the great hair and the great beard, Mr. Bruno Kramm, co-founder of Danse Macabre Records and acting president, if I'm not mistaken. And he performs with Das Eek. He performed last night, actually, with Gothminister. Put on a great show for us last year and this year, and he's DJing all over the festival and does all kinds of stuff. He's remixed a tremendous amount of acts. Bruno Kramm. So I'm DJ Addambombb. I'm a DJ, and that's enough. I have really the resume that these guys have, although I'm working on it. So today we're going to be talking about well, a lot of topics that can be fairly sensitive to some people because we all have a lot of opinions about it. We're going to be talking about the changes in media that sort of starts back a long time ago. The record industry and the recording industry was founded on wax cylinders by Edison, pretty much, and we've come a long way since then in terms of formats. We've gone through vinyl acetates and magnetic reels and cassettes and CDs, optical CDs, and now we have this whole new thing called digital file formats, such as MP3 and MP4 and FLAC files. And with these kind of changes, there's been a lot of controversy. Whether it's good or bad doesn't really matter. The things that we need to acknowledge to go forward from this is simply that it exists, and that these formats are here to stay, and that we can't really do anything to stop peer-to-peer file sharing, so we have to find a way to incorporate that. And how are artists, labels, musicians, how are people going to survive in this, protect their rights, protect their incomes, how are we going to thrive in this new media frontier? So I'm going to just go ahead and turn it over to these guys. I know these guys have a tremendous amount of information and opinions they'd like to share with you. Bruno, would you give us start us off, give us a little snapshot of how this is...
Well, okay, let's say the whole thing is called future media, so it's, I think, not so much about what happened in the past, and I don't think we should not discuss too much about the formats, because I'm sure after MP3, MP4, there will come masses of new formats. And this is not quite interesting because I think everybody gets his own information. For me personally, as somebody who's working and in the record industry and making a living from it and having employees in my company for that, of course it's a time of paradigm change, because today just selling music doesn't work anymore. So you have to think about future media in a different appeal. So you have to think about how can you combine music with other kind of things related to music to make it just a bigger thing. Because I think one of the most important things for me is that I understood that perhaps in this new decade, music is not as important as it has been in the past. And I just want to strip it down really easily to two facts. First of all, music always, and I think everybody of you, music had been really important in the earlier days, in the 80s, 90s, for you perhaps in the 70s, 60s, have been always really important to shape your own personality in ways of that when you don't feel comfortable in the society, when you had been like 60 years old, music was the only thing that helped you just to shape yourself and to find to what you're today. So basically, for that reason, music was really important. And for me as a musician, music is just much more. It is just, of course, expressing creativity and all these things. And of course, I'm sure you all do music too. But the point is, today, young people, and that's the most important thing, young people found different medias to find this way how they can express themselves and shape their individuality. That means in this term, music lost its main focus on this part. So of course, it's not only because young people can download music. Music just lost its worth. And this is not because music got worse or it's too much music. It's because music is not so important anymore. We all have it everywhere. It surrounds us everywhere. And you can carry it wherever you want with your little MP3 players, whatever. But it is not so important as it has been before. Okay, to color that out, I would say if you look back 100 years, let's really go back 100 years. At this time, there was one media, the most important media to just carry out information and to carry out education. It was the book. Today, if you go to younger people, who of them reads book? I mean, today, if you look in the top 10 list of books, there is still top 10 list. It's all books which are successful, but they don't sell as much as they did in the beginning of the last century. So I think music is quite the same thing like the book had been in the beginning of the last century, so it's just not as important anymore for young people. I do not want to say that music and books are not important. Of course, everybody of you and me, we took most of our knowledge from books, and also we shaped our personality with music. But it is not as important anymore. If you look today to the book market, the sales are really small. If you compare it, for example, to the 70s or 60s, they're really small, and they are some kind of niche. So it's for people who are really interested, special interest. And I think music also in the future will be something like a special interest thing.
I have to jump in and disagree with part of that point.
Okay.